Zimbabwe cash crisis worse. Talking about Venezuela once again.
Systemic important banks. They removed the one factor on their called monetary awareness.
Hey there, hope all is well. Just checking in for a Monday, somewhat of an aftermarket, even though the markets are closed, wrap up. But came across a couple of interesting headlines that I thought I would share just because even though it's holiday here in the U.S., and of course, happy 4th to everybody, and hope you guys are having a very peaceful, relaxing weekend. But nevertheless, around the world, markets were open today. And even though the markets were closed here in the U.S., this still doesn't mean that the rest of the world is on standstill while we celebrate Independence Day here for whatever it's worth at this current moment. But anyway, wanted to check in for a quick minute, share my 2 cents, came across 5 or 6 different headlines, all worth bringing to your attention. Dive deeper if you're interested. Just wanted to scan the surface and give you something to chew on. Once again, hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification. Hopefully you're notified. But then again, I can't control the algorithms, but you know what to do with that. And then also there's other social media platforms that you can connect as well. All that information is down below. I just want to bring to your attention, for those that might be new perhaps, I am partnering with Bullion Max to put what I call an RTD silver bullion kit in your hands. So as you guys can see here, it's an assortment of 5999 silver that's available for the community. The link is below. Just another way to add to your stack and to continue to get your weight up. And then also interested in joining me for late nights, starting tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m., transitioning from YouTube over to RTD Local. So I encourage you guys to plug in just because I want to have more community minus the censorship. So I'd encourage you guys to click the link beneath this video here to become a member. All right, let's just jump right in to the primary article. And it said the stock market is closed today, but it's dropping anyway. And so I thought I would just start off this 4th of July week, or Monday rather, just let you know, regardless of the festivities, activities, the fireworks and things like that, the markets around the world are still impacting what's going to happen here come tomorrow morning when the markets open up. But just real quickly here, it said the stock market is dropping, even though it's closed for the 4th of July in the United States. It says that's not as strange as it sounds. It says stock markets are interconnected. So even when one is closed, the futures often trade in overseas markets, giving a sense of where the market would be trading if it were open. So, long story short, if you go to investing.com just to see where the current futures market is right now, here's the real-time markets for the Dow, S&P 500, U.S. tech sector, and small cap 2000. And as of right now, based upon what we should expect for in the morning when the markets open up, as of right now, we're in the red. But on to more important things real quickly. Right now, the European Union, the experiment of trying to gather all those nations under one monetary / governmental authority body in the EU itself is unraveling right now. And Germany has been the most productive. Right now, their economy is cratering. And wherever Germany goes, basically where the rest of the EU goes as well. And so there's a lot of interesting stories I'm going to jump on real quick. An interesting article here that came out yesterday. It says Germany's union head warns of a collapse of the entire industries. And it says top German industries could face collapse because of cuts in the supplies of Russian natural gas, the country's top union official warned before crisis talks with the chancellor started today. It says because of gas bottlenecks, entire industries are in a danger of permanently collapsing: aluminum, glass, and chemical industries. And so just to give an idea of what this collapse looks like, let me go to a tweet here that tells a good indicator as to what's going on. So as of right now, the Germany trade balance month over month is negative. And it hasn't been this low going back to 1991, according to Holger right here. And it says, good morning from Germany. It says, which is falling as an economic powerhouse on a global scale. Germany's trade surplus is gone. Foreign trade balance came in as a minus $1 billion in May, which is the first negative print since 1991 due to its energy problems and weakness in manufacturing. So once again, the cutoff of energy from Russia is impacting them severely. At the same time, the EU, the overall body of individuals, is looking to ramp up sanctions even more, which will further cause disruptions in all the EU area nations rather, but Germany, the most productive one, is struggling the most, and so negative right now. So that means that because of the lack of productivity from this country here, they're no longer exporting whatsoever. And if you thought things could get even worse, Germany's second largest city is preparing to ration hot water as Russia energy crisis escalates. And so it's interesting how rationing, emergencies, and all those type of buzzwords will become more prevalent as we move forward throughout the summer and into the fall. But real quick here, it says Hamburg's environment senator said that the city could set limits on when people can use hot water. And then it says here, Germany is scrambling to plug the gap in energy supplies after cutting its independence on the Russian gas. So not surprising whatsoever. On to the next article real quick. It says Uniper in talks over bailout package to plug $9.4 billion hold. Who is Uniper? Let's look at this. German gas giant Uniper is in talks with the government over potential bailout package as much as 9 billion euros. Says the government is looking at applying a set of measures, including loans, taking an equity stake, and passing part of the cost on to customers. It says Germany, which has built its economic model on cheap Russian gas, is wrestling with a squeeze in supplies and surging fuel prices as the Moscow punishes Europe for support for Ukraine. So primary focal point here, they built their economic model on cheap Russian gas, and it's no longer cheap. But to keep it moving right along, here's something worth talking about as well. Another EU nation. Italy declares drought emergency in 5 northern regions. It says further measures could be taken in future to deal with the drought. So not only are there energy concerns, but then again, certain pockets of the planet due to the climate agenda and the weather manipulation, things of that nature. Some areas are much drier than others. But it says real quick, Italy on Monday declared a state of emergency for areas surrounding the River Po, which is accounts for roughly a third of the country's agricultural production and is suffering the worst drought for 70 years. The government decree will allow authorities to cut through red tape and take action immediately if they think it is necessary, such as to impose water rationing for homes and businesses. So not only do we have the second largest city in Germany talking about rationing hot water, we have Italy talk about rationing water as well. Very, very, very interesting stories. And then to take it even further, let's just look at what's happening in Ghana as of this video here, which surfaced today. But as of right now, it says protests on fuel hikes and high cost of living. Protesters clash with police. So there's a lot of issues happening right now. And so over the last couple of weeks, bit by bit, I've been showing video clips of several countries that have had issues such as this, where civilians and military clash due to the irresponsibility of governments and the central bank, basically robbing citizens dry. But this is what's happening. Keep it moving. On another note here, getting ready to draw down last couple of articles here, but Peter Schiff, this came out the last 4 days and it hasn't been talked about much, but I saw it surfacing on the Twitter sphere, but I thought it would bring some attention to it. It's just more of the financial shakeout that's taking place in the financial sector, dealing with, the powers that be at the very top, trying to shake out everything beneath them, just to create more desperation as well as more financial ruin as well. But, it says Peter Schiff on Puerto Rico suspending Euro Pacific Bank. It says, quote here, "I just want it out. Take of it what you may." But I think it was last Thursday. They call it the J5, which is a collaboration of the IRS or the tax agencies of the United States of America, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, and one more. All 5 of those literally is a tax enforcement. It's a global tax enforcer that goes around the planet basically looking for tax cheats and everything like that according to their measures. And they bring the clamp down on entities that fall into their criteria. And it looks like the Euro Pacific Bank has turned out to be one of them. So I'll give you more insight here. It says Puerto Rico regulators are making a mistake by ordering Euro Pacific Bank to stop operations in territory instead of allowing the financial institution to be sold. So it looks like as of, I think, Friday, they basically shut down Peter Schiff's bank and all the depositors. I think there was a total of about 15,000 depositors over the last 5 years since it's been open, and over the last year or so, due to the negative press that he received from that investigation, the 60-minute thing he did 2 years ago or so, he's lost some customers. But apparently, according to the reports here, there has been a negative shortfall in the actual capital for his institution. So he's been able to, fill in the gaps with his own funds. But ultimately speaking, he's been operating in the negative, according to these reports here. And so Euro Pacific Bank is no longer compliant according to those standards there. So they are shutting them down, and they won't even let them sell it. So that lets me know that this is probably another deliberate hit, similar to how a lot of the cryptocurrency entities are also being pressured due to margin calls and all the inter crypto lending platforms and things like that. And so all it takes is one domino to fall, and there's usually a contagion of other events going under. So just more information that was happening out there in the banking sector. So if it can happen to Peter, it can happen to anybody else as well. And then on another note, here is more of the I call it crypto coin, crypto contagion. Breaking news: coin loan begins to halt withdrawals. And so I'm thinking, I've never heard of them before, but I'm sure there's hundreds, if not thousands, of these little entities that came about over the last 3, 4, or 5 years, perhaps. And they were doing well when the markets were trending upward. But now that we are pretty much, for the most part, trending sideways, getting ready to go a lot lower, there's a lot of issues with capital. Keep an eye on Celsius, just because I think Celsius was the first of its kind and happens to be the biggest one of a crypto lending company that is under a lot of pressure from external forces, but yet they're hanging on. And so it says Celsius is 82 million DAI away from closing the wrapped BTC DeFi position. They just paid another 64 million. So it looks as if they're trying to get things back in order. And one thing I want to bring up about this particular post here is that as of right now, in order to keep themselves from being liquidated, they have over collateralized their loans. And so I think when I first saw them out here trying to make sure that they don't have any margin calls on their wrapped BTC, they were just, depositing more than they actually needed so that there wouldn't be all of a sudden a drawdown and they would get liquidated. But look how low they've got it right now. So as of right now, they are 74% well beyond what the figure would be for them to actually have to or be liquidated or close out of their position. And so as of right now, they have more than enough Bitcoin in there to be able to allow the current liquidation price, to go down to under $5,000 for Bitcoin. So basically what this tells me is that either somebody out there is aware of the forces just trying to take Celsius out of business, and the forces that are at play will be willing to do anything as far as destroying the crypto market so that they could either liquidate this company, or perhaps they realize that we're in a downward trend for the global economy, and that at this current moment, there is no real floor for how low crypto prices can go to overall market cap, to where they can probably see Bitcoin going down to $5,000 or so, which would be that 85-90% correction that a lot of the TA people, as well as a lot of the economists, is anticipating. And that's what I've been calling for as well, just because look at the equities market. That's more important than crypto any day, any time of the week. And if people are talking about, 80 to 90% or an unforeseen crash occurring in equities, then it's definitely going to trickle in right into the crypto space, because overall, in the grand scheme of things, crypto, outside of the long-term digital surveillance usage of it, is not really, it's not anything tangible or real that the world actually needs. And so it's definitely expendable, in my opinion. But anyway, just want to connect for a quick RTD News wrap up. And I hope everyone's doing well. Definitely, if you enjoy this, hit that thumbs up button, show your support. And then once again, just for those that are interested, definitely want to encourage you to join me for the RTD Locals page. Become a member so you guys can stay plugged in, and definitely looking to do things a little bit different there, just because it's more open and free talk. So anyway, be blessed, be safe, and I will see you guys later.